Well, Lee Kendall desperate to make up for that home international loss to Jason Twist. And as we said, Twist is the man on form in 8-ball pool at the moment as they get ready for our second quarter-final. The world champion Quinton Hahn on great form. How good a form are these two on? Let's join Mike McDonald and Jim Weish.
Well, thanks very much, Jonathan. Yes, a veritable feast of 8-ball pool here in Blackpool all week, and what a mouth-watering prospect we're in store for here. Two very good friends, English teammates, the number 3 and the number 5 seed respectively. It just doesn't get any better than this, folks. And the Fox himself, Lee Kendall, all set to break off to kick things off here. It's a best of 17 quarterfinal. The first player to reach 9 will book a date with the Australian defending Embassy World Pool champion Quinton Hahn. And Mike, a tough one to call, but on form, on recent form, you have to favor Jason Twist, if only slightly.
Yeah, I think so, Jim. Jason's had a tremendous run of form at the major tournaments lately. As you've already mentioned, the home international champion and the Europeans. I think it'll be a hard one for Lee.
Red ball's in play.
As it's already been said, his current form's not that great, and Jason is absolutely playing like a wizard.
Well, obviously, if breaks are going to be the determining factor here, early indications would have to say that Lee Kendall has to sort it out because he's let Jason Twist in very early. One of the most consistent players, certainly on tour this season, having pocketed 3 major events already. And both of these players, remember, have seen the television lighting very often in their careers. In fact, both beaten finalists in this very tournament. Lee Kendall in 1997, respectively, and Jason Twist in 1995. So no strangers to primetime pool. And certainly, Mike, as is the case when two friends play, a few variables come into play as well. You know, you're going to be playing a gentleman that you're going to be seeing every single day, and you want to have the bragging rights.
Yeah, I think that's right, Jim. A lot of the top players who play in the same team have that problem. They tend sometimes not to find the killer instinct. But Jason will rise above that, I think. He's desperate to add this crown to his other 2.
And he's looking terrific here in the early going. Has yet to put a foot wrong. Now, does he have enough room to get through and slot this red into the center?
Yeah, it's there. He's played a great shot.
Well, also in the box, Tony Holgate. And Tony, what a dream start for Jason Twist here. The simple 8.
Exactly what Jason was looking for.
And a perfect way to open accounts here for Jason Twist. A complete clearance over Lee Kendall, and he leads in this race to 9, 1 frame to 0. And this last red, a sure sign that his nerves are steady. And these are the sort of 8s that you like to be knocking in to win frames here. Tony, as I said, just the sort of start Jason would have wanted.
Came out of the traps very fast, didn't he? I mean, Jason Twist, he's one of the world's greatest potters. Playing the wily old fox from Stoke-on-Trent, Lee Kendall. But Mr. Kendall, one of the king of the tactical games. And I think he'll be a little bit wary of Mr. Twist, because he won't like to be having all the open games with him. I mean, I'm not saying Lee can't putt or anything. I mean, far from it. He's a great player. He's in the later stages of all the tournaments.
Well, it was certainly mentioned in the studio that we might well see a little tactical play employed here by Lee Kendall to try and slow Jason down. But Jason can play that game too, I think. And we saw Lee Kendall break off unsuccessfully. Not the case for Jason.
Red ball's potted.
And with the red down, as we again have another look at a successful break-off, this is exactly what these players want to do. Maintain control of the table. It affords him the opportunity to be able to choose either suit. And what an advantage that is.
Great cue ball on the break as well. He kept it right in the middle of the table. mean, it's okay smashing the balls off the break, but if you can control the white as well, just makes life so much easier when you're trying to take out a finish.
And again, looking like a roadmap finish here. If that 8 does pass into the bottom right corner as we look past the yellow, and looks very tight, but if it passes, and it does, wide open, no obstacles whatsoever for Jason Twist here in the second frame.
Like I was saying before, Jason Twist is one of the world's most aggressive players. Doesn't like to mess about. I mean, Mike, you know with your experiences, you know, on the Scottish side, you've come up against England loads of times. Jason Twist is usually lead-off man for them, isn't he? And he's such a great player.
That's right, Tony. And I know some pot or two. I can't see him not finishing this. He, as you say, he's an aggressive player. He's very, very calm at the table. His cue action is absolutely superb.
Well, he's been known to dabble with a bit of snooker at one time or another, Jason, and you can see on the way he cues, he's very, very straight. He doesn't jump on it off his cue, you know, and his stance, his textbook, everything about him, you know, just spells out monster player.
As a national manager, Tony, it's the sort of player you would like in your team.
Choice of reds here. Either one should afford position onto the last red, but that's where it gets a little tricky, because he's got to have an angle to get down, ideally on the left-hand side of that 8-ball, as we look.
Well, I'm a little surprised about his choice of shot here, because if he doesn't get the right angle on the last red...
He was up off the cue very quickly there.
We can forget about getting the angle off the last red, because he's missed that one.
Well, this is a chance that I'm sure Lee Kendall didn't expect to get, but that was a long ways away, that red.
No, I think that drifted. I think the ball drifted with the nap there, Jim. I mean, as he hit the ball first, it looked to me, in my opinion, it was going towards the pocket.
Well, another look at it here.
Look at the line of this at the start, Jim. That is turning. That has turned about 1/4 of an inch.
Was never struck with a lot of confidence, but certainly never threatened the pocket at the end. And Lee Kendall will be quick to put pay to this one. One problem area is certainly that yellow just above the black at the bottom of the table, because it is only going to be available to the left-hand pocket as we look.
Going to try and cannon this one in off the red. Make the pocket available for yellow and black. Well, Mike, what do you think of that shot, sir?
Well, what can you say about that, Tony? A guy with his talent should be doing these kind of shots. That's the shots that'll lose you a tournament.
And what's more, your opposition grows in confidence when he knows he can get away with misses such as Jason Twist did and not really get punished.
Well, I thought that one was missing. As you can see, there is a slight turn to the left there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that Jason Twist wanted to pot that one. Otherwise, he would have played it with a little more pace.
You're definitely right there, Jim. Try to cover the bag. I think he tried to wobble the cue ball in the jaws out. A hole for the black. Jason is a very adventurous shot to attempt. But I wonder if this yellow...
Well, that won't hold a candle in terms of adventurous shots. That one won't hold a candle to this one.
No.
Because I just can't see this ball being on right now. He's looking cushion off the yellow and into the corner pocket. And if this goes in for me, this will be the shot of the tournament.
Got to play with quite a lot of power, Jim, as well. The cue ball's going to be running around the table a fair bit.
That's a problem, Tony, controlling the cue ball.
And what a shot from Jason Twist. Unbelievable. I thought that one was in the lap of the gods, straight into the corner pocket, and the tornado opens up a 2-0 lead over the Fox.
That was unbelievable, Jim.
And what a shot to finish on. I don't think Lee Kendall thought for a minute that Jason Twist was going to get that. I know I certainly didn't.
No, I'm with you, Jim.
I would have given him that shot 10 times and bet him not to pot it once. His timing is absolutely crucial too.
Third frame, Lee to break, trailing 2 frames to 0.
And Lee Kendall all set to break off frame number 3. He's dropped the first 2. How important is this break off at such an early stage? And very noticeable, he took an awful lot of pace out of that, probably trying to keep the balls tight. He wants to try and force the issue and keep it tactical.
Yeah, he's trying not to leave them open for Jason. Here you see his break. It's nowhere near the sort of power of most of the professionals in the tournament there. I mean, Lee can hit a hard break when he wants to, but that was definitely done on purpose.
But it's certainly been a downside of his game this week. Watching him in the team event, it just hasn't happened for him, and he'll need to sort it.
30 seconds.
Well, it's a very difficult table right now that presents itself for either player. He's trying to get this yellow out. And what a brave try that was from Jason Twist. That's the only difficult ball.
But I'll tell you what, he's left himself an angle at the top. This is a great attempt, Jim. He's playing with a lot of confidence out there at the moment.
And it shows.
It does indeed. He's left himself the angle, though. He can still get it out with his next shot. I'm sure he'll be looking to do that.
I think you're right, Tony. That's a shot for Jason.
Thirty seconds.
Well, he's had 2 tries at it and missed it both times. And the options are starting to run out for Jason Twist here.
Yeah, he didn't get enough side on the cue ball there, Jim. Want a bit more left-hand side to take it into the yellow, kicking it outwards into the middle of the table. Would have left him a great chance to finish the frame.
And what's more, Tony, is he's slightly developed Lee Kendall's reds.
That's right. Chance for Lee if Jason messes up.
30 seconds.
He's had his 2 goes to get it out. And he's going to run out of yellow soon. I think we could be going again, Jim.
Yes, here we go. Side cushion, top cushion again. Trying to get that cue ball right into the yellow. Side cushion, off the top cushion, and hopefully over towards the yellow.
That's a fantastic shot there from Jason Twist. Well, it's 3rd time lucky, Jim.
A world-class shot there, Tony.
This is just the sort of start Jason Twist is looking for. Lee Kendall firmly pinned in his seat, and I can't see any major hurdles now for Jason Twist. Okay, the black's on the rail, but he's going to be able to get across, and there's Lee. Little shake of the head there.
And he's really done nothing. It's been all Jason Twist, and a tremendous finish if he can complete this one. And it's going to take one more rock-solid positional shot. The last yellow over to the right-hand side of the table for the 8.
Got to be careful of enough if he's pulling straight back. Ooh! How close was that, Jim?
You were almost a prophet there, Tony. And the 8 down.
Brian, that's a superb clearance by Jason Twist there. If he keeps playing like this, I can see no way back for Lee. He's really going to have to sort it out, and he's going to have to sort it quick.
Yeah, tremendous clearance there from Jason Twist. It just doesn't get any better than that, Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Yeah, no question about it. Jason Twist on great form at the moment in his 2nd quarter-final here against Lee Kendall. And I'm amazed, actually, at some of the shots he's playing. His accuracy is brilliant, Neil Blake. You're going to be in the quarter-finals yourself. Are you up to that sort of form at the moment?
Oh, yeah. Big shots is my game, you know. Last year I played a lovely shot, you know, a few lovely shots on tally. So we're going to see one now in a minute, aren't we?
Yeah, certainly. The one that we see in the black here. Now, you called this. You told me he was going to do this.
Yeah. Well, he's playing the black. Off the cushion, off the yellow, rolling along the cushion and bang, in it goes.
Well, that's
Beautiful
the sort of
shot.
style he's on. That's great stuff. Lee's got to calm down. He's got to settle down, hasn't he?
That's right. He hasn't had a clear-cut opportunity yet. And the way it is, you can warm up. You can warm up inside. And he's got to control that and get his chances.
Well, the Tornado's flying at the moment. He's 3-0 up. Let's go back to our commentary team.
And breaking in frame number 4 is the Tornado. And there's no way he's going to have any of that tactical battle. That was a mighty heave-ho. No friends, though. And really the first opportunity for Lee Kendall. That was a terrific break again, noticeably controlling that white.
Lee must take this opportunity, I think, Jim, to stamp his mark in this game. He's got to get in now. And if he does it, he'll build his confidence.
Well, we noticed in our first quarterfinal, Quinton Hahn raced away 4-0 over Danny Kenny. And that's exactly what Jason Twist has done here. And what that does is it affords you to weather the storm. You know there's going to be a fight back here from Kendall. And that 3-0 lead just gives Jason Twist that cushion that he enjoys. The comfort zone.
Yellow ball's in play.
But I have to agree with you, certainly, Mike. This is a chance that certainly Lee Kendall, has to take out. Imperative right now for him to let Jason Twist know that he's here.
Well, in the first quarter-final, Jim, we saw Quinton Hahn race out, I think, to a 4-0 lead. Like you said, Jim. And Lee Kendall has got to stop the rot.
No time like the present here. The one difficult yellow is the one towards the left-hand side of the table. Just on below the reds, bottom left, and that will be the stumbling block, I think. I don't know if that one yellow will pass bottom right, but if it does, he's got a nice angle here to be able to drop onto it. Well, there you go. It will pass.
I'm not convinced on his position now, Jim.
It looks like the cue ball is going to be running away from desired position, so we might have to dig into it a little bit and just use those reds to hold position here, but again, he's attacking. That's what he's got to do. And nicely played.
A tremendous shot from Lee there. And he's in a good position to go into the black. This should be it.
And a sigh of relief from Lee Kendall there, too. He knew how important that shot was, not only to this frame, but in the match. Lee Kendall pulls one back. He trails Jason Twist 3-1 in this race to 9.
That's exactly what he needed, Jim. He'll be going back to his seat now with some added confidence, and if he can build on that, you never know.
Well, Mike, he knows he'll be breaking off here, too, in the next one, so a chance to dig into Jason Twist's lead even that much more. But a very nicely played shot. A deft touch required here. And watch how he uses the reds to halt the progress of the white and hold position onto that last yellow.
Yeah, that was a tremendous shot.
Judged to perfection. Well, they all knew they were going to be treated to a real nail-biter here, and Jason Twist tried to avert that, but I don't think Lee Kendall's going to have anything to do with it. He's going to keep him well and truly in his sights. And we all know who those two are rooting for. Now Lee Kendall employing a break cue here. Frame number 5 of a scheduled 17. And we'll see if he employs the same sort of tactic that he did with his last break. where he
Lead to
used
break, trailing 3 frames to 1.
a very soft break, certainly by their standards, to try and keep the balls tight. Let's see what he does here.
Well, I think he'll be a little bit happier now because he's got a frame on the board. Give him a bash.
Well, certainly a little bit more welly there, but again, the same result.
Open table.
Yeah, but like I said, he's just a lot happier now because he's got his hand on the table. He's made a finish. But he won't be too pleased that he didn't make a ball off the break. Now they're all open for the tornado. Jason Twist.
I think the breaks become such a crucial part of the game, Tony, and that's the first shot on the table you must master.
Well, at this level, that can be the difference between winning and losing. We've seen it and said so often
Yellow balls
how
in play.
players that have been breaking well and have used the break to their advantage.
Well, it's now really become like a service in tennis. It is a service. Simple as that. And like a tennis player, if you service, you're not getting your serves in, you get beat.
Again, as you said earlier, Tony, Jason's going for this aggressive style of pool. It suits him well. Let's see how this develops.
Played a good positional shot there, Jim.
Well, possibly a little too straight, though, Tony. You can't afford him any angle to get that cue ball away from the cushion, but
I don't think he'll be too disappointed. I mean, he can just run this down the rail. He'll still have a little bit of angle. Just needs a nice, soft, delicate pot. Well, he's opted to go the other way. Maybe not a bad choice, considering.
there's one thing that I always notice with Jason. He always looks so focused. His eyes, they never leave the table. Now, how's that finished?
I don't think he looks too good. It might be virtually glued to that red ball, the cue ball.
Well, if it is, he's cursed, really. He traveled a little further than he would have liked, but, I mean, for that cue ball to wedge up to that red, he's got to feel like...
Well, you can see there's no way he can get through to pot the yellow in the corner.
No chance whatsoever. And
I don't think he can see enough of the ball nearest to, the yellow nearest to black to pot that either. And if that's the case, Jason's in a lot of trouble. And there you see he's not got enough to pot the yellow.
It's a great opportunity now for Lee to come on the table, and he's got to take his chances. He's got to stay calm and get the cue in action proper. That's very, very unlucky there for Jason, leaving himself snookered on both balls.
well, the last time Lee Kendall had this opportunity, he put it to good use. And right now, a 3-2 scoreline is staring him right in the face. And it's just down to him to get down and accept it. Sometimes these players, they make the game look so easy that we just give them the benefit of the doubt, but they're under a lot of pressure here. They're under the television lights, center stage, and lest we forget, there's 41,000 pounds on offer of the total prize fund here in this 2000 Embassy World 8-Ball Pool Championships, and the eventual winner here will be assured of a 10,000-pound winner's check. Not a bad week's work at all.
Lee Kendall, he doesn't race around the table quite as quickly as Jason Twist. And I think he likes that approach because he'll try and get at Jason with it. Once he's at the table, he'll want to keep Jason in his seat for, you know, a nice length of time and try and put him through the grinder a bit.
Well, Lee's got a nice angle on this red to drop onto the one onto the cushion. if he elects to, or he could even try and screw up table and drop on the one nearest the black.
Gonna have to leave himself an angle though.
I think
on the rail.
I would have played the one on the cushion first there, Tony, and just tried to leave myself where I could have screwed back for the last red below the black. Just seems that would have made his work a little easier.
Definitely, Jim. But now he's got to leave himself the angle on the ball on the rail. Let's come back for the black.
Now here's the shot. All he's got to do here is clear that yellow. He almost wants to draw the cue ball back into the same area that it's in now.
And if he comes too far, he can play it in the middle.
And there you go. That was always going to be the danger. And that was the reason that, as we agreed on, we felt he should have taken that red before the last.
Total snooker.
Yeah, Jim, I definitely agree with you there. The one up the cushion and his second last shot was the shot. Then screw back and go for the red down the bottom of the table, leaving himself 3 pockets as an option. That now, well, what can you say about that shot?
Well, you know something, Mike, easy to say in hindsight, but there's no excuse for that. Lee had a lot of room for error there. And I think if we gave him that shot 10 times on the practice table, 10 out of 10, he'd finish on the black.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's most certainly cost him the frame here now. And what a let-off for Jason Twist. And what a turn of momentum that could be. We should mark that shot.
Well, I think that was a silly shot that Lee Kendall's played there. I mean, yes, he got the total snooker call. Which all the people at home, if you're completely snookered, then you don't have to hit the cushion after contact. He should have gone to try and pot that black because the full dead weight behind the ball was virtually impossible.
And down goes the 8, and Jason Twist, by virtue of a Christmas present really, takes that 5th frame to lead Lee Kendall now 4-1. But you know what's in Lee Kendall's mind, certainly? It's still that poor positional shot that he played. He knows that he had that one on a silver platter and turned it right over to Jason Twist. And here it is again. Another look. Just misjudged that terribly, really, and his heart must have leapt up to his mouth.
Jim, in the quarterfinals of the World Championships, you just can't be playing shots like that because calibre of players like Jason Twist won't give you a second opportunity. That was a good, calculated finish again by Jason, and it's definitely the one who got away for Lee.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael, at the end of the day, I mean, you've played the game yourself at international level, and now you manage in Scotland. But at the end of the day, it's when you've done that, it's to try and pick yourself up in the next frame, forget about it, put it out of your mind, and carry on.
6th frame, Jason to break, leading 4 frames to 1.
Well, keeping positive thoughts first and foremost in your mind is the key to success in any sports discipline. It's also the most difficult thing to try and achieve. And that's what Lee Kendall has to try and master right now.
Well, he's got a quick opportunity, straight back to the table. There's Jason's break. Gave him a fair welly, Jim, as well, but not successful with making a ball.
There's just no key to success with regards to the break, Tony, and I guess all you can do is try the different areas of the table with the white, you know, alter your speeds.
Just get hold of the cue, Jim, and grip it and rip it.
Basically, the John Daly school of breaking.
That's right.
30 seconds.
An awkward cueing here for Lee. And look at that.
Well, I think it's when he's cueing there, he knew he was very, very close to with his tip to the yellow. And as you can see how close he is to moving that ball.
But again, a lot of movement with his head, Tony.
It's his cue. When you watch the shot, the cue coming straight off his hand. He never left his cue on his bridging hand. Watch the cue, Jim. Cueing down, and there you see the cue is up in the air. That's why he missed that shot.
That's right, Tony. And Jim's also right. The head moved very quickly
30
there.
seconds.
You get the same sort of result in golf when you take your eye off the ball. Nothing good happens, and that's one of the first things that I tell a lot of people that are learning. As simple as it is, keep your head still and your eye on the ball. And certainly if there is an awkward yellow, it's the one he's shooting now. Everything else will be in the clear.
Another thing, Jim, I can't believe the speed that... Oh, my word. How on earth has Jason Twist missed that? I mean...
Red ball's in
That's
play.
that wasn't even close. There's no kick there. That is pure and simple carelessness.
That's certainly very uncharacteristic for Jason there. I just can't believe he's played that shot like that, Tony.
Well, that might be one he'll live to regret.
Yeah, I was just about to say before Jason missed that, I couldn't believe the speed that Lee Kendall tried to put the yellow the first time round. But that's just an unbelievable miss from Jason.
And you know the best and quickest way to embed that in one's memory bank is to take the frame. Good pot here from Lee Kendall. But so important now for him to clear up at this visit. It would make that mess from Jason Twist that much bigger.
Also going a long ways to erasing the when he snooked himself on the black in the last frame as well. Getting that one out of the memory bank.
Also often we've seen in international pool, Tony, that shots like that can be the turning point in a game.
Well, very often we see the swing of momentum. And this is a chance right now for Lee Kendall to wrest it back off Jason Twist. Still a long ways to go in this, remember. It's a best of 17. The first player to reach 9 will find himself opposite Quentin Hahn. He's got to be careful that waistcoat doesn't touch that yellow. But certainly from Lee Kendall's perspective, 4-2 looks a heck of a lot better than 5-1.
Still got to just work on this red into the centre. He's got to make sure he gains the correct position on the other red at the top of the table, because if you don't get on this one right, you can still mess this frame up.
30 seconds.
Something you've got to say about Lee Kendall, no matter how hard it's going to get out there, he'll keep playing, he'll keep trying. That's why he's classed by all the top international players a tremendous spirited player.
Well, Lee's looking down to check to see if the red passes yellow into the bottom right hand corner.
Well, one thing about it, when you know you're struggling,
there you can see
nothing's easy. But this passes. But remember, we've seen a couple balls drift out of this pocket. So if he rolls it,
I shouldn't think he'll play it too heavy.
Struck that as sweet as a nut.
I still think there's a turn there, Jim. I'm sorry. That ball started to pull to the left. Just a tad. He hit it at the right pace. He had enough pace on the ball to take it into the pocket, but any slower, I'll tell you what, Jim, that could have missed. Lovely positional shot though from the Fox, and this will do him the world of good.
And what a big frame that is for Lee Kendall. After such a poor miss from Jason Twist, could that be the turning point? Jonathan, it could be heating up down here.
A big difference between 5-1 and 4-2. That was a big one for Lee Kendall, but an interesting frame in many ways. Neil Blake is watching it with us. Neil, what was going on, first of all, with Jason Twist? He made an amazing miss there. Lee Kendall had made a mistake earlier, but I think Jason's was even stranger. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, if you see the layout of the balls, that was his one hard shot, and he'd got on it perfectly. He was on the balls lovely. From there on, it was going to be a simple finish. But by missing that then, he let Lee in, and Lee finished him off. He almost missed the black, actually. You could see it on his face.
Lee did play some good shots as well, and he settled down a little bit more. He needed that frame for many reasons.
That's right. I said before that frame, he needs to win 2 out of the next 3 to leave himself in position so he can still win this match.
All right, it's the quarterfinals of the World Championships here in Blackpool. It's getting close at the moment, 4-2, but Jason Twist is in control. Lee Kendall about to break.
7th frame, Lee to break, trailing 4
Frame number 7 now. And Lee Kendall has to be feeling considerably better about proceedings. He dropped the first 3 before he started to claw his way back into this one. That's not the way you maintain momentum.
So what, the cue ball jumped up in the air, nearly bounced into the middle pocket, didn't it?
Well, he can offer a smile, but I can tell you he's not too thrilled about the way things turned out there.
1 visit.
Again, Jim, it keeps coming back this question about Lee's current breaking.
Yeah, he's got to get that sorted out because you just can't win at this level unless you've got success off the break.
I think when the top players are breaking, they're always looking to keep the white ball in the centre of the table. And for me, that's a basic mistake that Lee shouldn't be making.
Well, only 1 visit though, Tony, off the break. And that's the only time it is only 1 visit after a foul.
That's right, all other foul shots are 2 visits.
Red ball's in play.
In off the break, if the cue ball was to come off the table and land on the floor, let's say, it would be 2 visits, but in off the break is 1 visit. That rule was brought in years and years and years ago, Jim, to encourage attacking play.
Well, there is one problem ball for Jason, and that's the one on the right-hand cushion as we look. And this would be some kind of clearance if he could complete this.
It's not frozen.
It looks like he's going to develop it right now.
30 seconds.
That's nothing more than just putting the heat on Lee Kendall. No pot
Yellow
attempted,
ball's
just
in play.
get it in the middle of the table where it can be potted, knowing he's not going to leave Lee a shot. That's kind of a cagey little shot from Jason there.
Well, that's right, he's left him no easy safety and certainly no easy pot there.
And what's more, the way that he's played that, the yellow that is nearest the white is certainly going to be a problem for Lee Kendall.
Well, looking at the table, I'll tell you what, the only shot he's got is a plant at the top of the table.
That's right, Tony, and again, awkward cueing.
He's going to play this yellow over onto that yellow over there. And he's going to try and make the plant into the corner pocket. Well, no, he didn't take it on, he refused it. He tried to go for a snooker behind the yellow, which, at the end of the day, I thought was just too difficult a shot to play.
Yeah, it's just looking for the safety, and he's left Jason a long red or 2 here. Again, an easy starting yellow for Lee, but control really in the hands of Jason Twist by virtue of that yellow on the right-hand cushion.
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the one he's got to move out. He's going to finish the frame from here. I think he actually might leave it there, Jim, and maybe play a double into the left-hand centre pocket.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of work to be done at this frame.
That one wiped its feet. Nothing's going to be easy for Lee Kendall. Here you see playing a simple pot, and I'll tell you what, that yellow ball hit the cushion a good ways up before the pocket.
Yes, you won't often see them drop, not on these match tables. Well, I wonder if he's going to take the double on right here. Well, this is all or nothing.
Try and stop the white dead and hold for the other yellow as well. That's a great shot from Lee Kendall. Kept position with the white ball as well for his next one. See him play the double, stop the white dead. Centre of the middle pocket. Great shot, Jim.
And completely turned the tables on Jason Twist. With one good pot, all of a sudden he now finds himself in the role of favourite.
That's right, Michael. Jason Twist, he's played, you know, a casual shot there. He's covered the bags. And he's, you know, he's happy with his position there. What a couple of great shots there from Lee.
Superb, absolutely superb shot. Now he's in control of the frame. Just simple things. Rolling balls in here, Tony, and he puts another frame on the board.
It took a lot of courage, too, lest we forget to play that shot at that early stage.
That's right. If you miss that one, he's gone in this frame.
Now just wants to leave a nice angle on this penultimate yellow to be able to bring that cue ball down closer to the last one. And there's the fox. That one's sitting down, the other one isn't. And a nice angle. Well, there have been a couple unforced errors and a couple terrific pots, but it doesn't matter how you look at it. Lee Kendall has fought his way back into this. From 4-1, he's taken the last two to trail just by the odd frame. 4-3 to Jason Twist after 7 frames here in this men's quarterfinal. And what a double this was. Opened the door for Kendall to complete victory. And as I said, Mike, it took an awful lot of courage, a lot of guts to play that shot.
Yeah, it's such a vital time in the game as well, Jim. That was a tremendous shot. It shows Lee's character. He's willing to give this a big go. If he keeps committing himself on the table like that, you never know.
Eighth frame, Jason to break, leading 4 frames to 3.
Well, Jason Twist has to try and stop the rot now. Kendall's fired back at him. He's still 1 frame in front. We talked about that early 3-0 lead, whether it would help him weather the storm. Well, let's find out.
It's certainly paying dividends now, Jim.
Well, there's a good break there from Jason Twist once again. Lots of power into this. The cue ball jumping up a couple of times, but makes the ball from the break. And I think yellows look the best option, Michael, don't you?
For sure. He's in control now. This is bread and butter stuff for him, Tony.
Well, even if he doesn't finish the frame at the end of the day, he's got to take yellows.
30 seconds.
Looking at the situation of the red at the bottom of the table.
But I have to ask you two gentlemen, you compete on center stage here in international play on the UK tour, certainly in 8-ball pool. Now, how big is it? Because Jason still has to be thinking about these bad misses that have crept into his game. How important is it now as he sees a victory in his sights here?
Absolutely vital just now, Jim. He's going to be looking at this. Lee's only 1 frame behind him. He'll be taking every shot. He'll be checking his pace, chalking his cue, having a look round the table, judging the next shot. And a top quality player like Jason shouldn't be failing to finish this frame.
He's got to be under pressure, though.
Yeah, but that's why he's a top international player, because he handles the pressure.
That's exactly right, Michael. Jason, I think he's probably thinking of playing the plant down into the bottom left-hand corner. But in my opinion, this shot,
30 seconds.
the yellow onto the yellow would not be the right option. Not with the red sat there. That's the ball he's going to look to play. over to this yellow. But there's always a danger that the yellow could come back and sit behind the red. It's got to be accurate, and there it is. It's kicked into the red and come back behind it. I just thought that was too dangerous a shot to play, Jim.
Yes, this had to be judged perfectly, and you could see as soon as that yellow contacted the red first, he was dead. I can't use that illustrator anymore. Did you see the line on there again?
No. Time out.
I've got to use the rest here. Referee Melvin Hurley just lending Jason the rest, but this is a big shot. Got to try and get it in that pocket, get the red out and gain control here. Got to be judged perfect.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's not a very good shot either. I'll tell you what, I think Lee's got to him a little bit.
Red ball's in play.
Jason had a nice, healthy early lead. Lee's come back and he's played a great finish last frame. As you see, this shot here, that's 2 loose shots in a row now from Jason Twist. And I think that the Fox is turning the screw on him a bit.
I said earlier, Tony, that he'll play to the death, and that's what he's doing. He's certainly turning the screw now. If he can maintain this, Lee's looking good.
Well, Michael, Lee will play a couple of safeties now. He won't go do anything rash and go for a finish. He'll want to try and get 2 visits from Jason if he can. If he can extract the 2 shots, makes the finish so much easier.
That's right. 2 shots would do him well for the bottom of the table here with the 2 reds.
That's right, and he's got the snooker here, Michael, I think. Lee there just checking to see if the cue ball goes through the gap of those reds in the centre of the table.
Well, both of these players list their primary goal as winning the Embassy Whirlpool crown. They're both on song still for that.
Now then, that is tight. Jason obviously realises it does go through because he's not asked the referee to check it. What a great shot from Jason Twist. But he's been unfortunate. He's played a yellow off the reds into the left-hand corner, but just look at the kiss there off the yellow onto the cue ball. Just a second, I thought it was coming the other side and he would have been on it. I think Jason Twist is looking at maybe he's played another one. That's incredible.
That shot is out of this world. Amazing.
Well, he's still got this long 8. And that certainly would make those 2 yellows tremendous pots. And completes it. Where's the cue ball? Oh, what a victory for Jason Twist there. Maintaining a lead of 5-3, but not without a few hiccups.
There'll be a 5-minute break.
Well, this is shaping up to be a great quarter-final. Jason Twist on excellent form, as you just saw in that last frame. Lee Kendall has got back in this, though, Neil. And but what about those last couple of shots from Jason? I mean, those are incredible, really.
That's right. If he hadn't played that, lost the game, basically. He's played the yellow off the 2 reds, also splitting his yellow away, as you see here. But now he's still left with a difficult shot. I called he's going to play the yellow off the red, pot in the yellow.
And the beauty of Jason's game at the moment is he's playing that kind of play all the time, isn't he?
That's right. When you're playing well, the big shots, they come off. And that's a pure great example of it.
Lee's not out of this, but he has to get his break game, doesn't he?
That's right. It was good. He had to win 2 of them last 3 games. Without doing that, he's out of the match. But he's still in there fighting. We'll see how his breaks go now from here on in.
Well, it's all about breaks, and talking of which, we'll have one ourselves. We'll be right back in a few moments' time. Welcome back to the World 8-Ball Pool Championships from Blackpool. The 2000 season is at grabs. The first world champion of the new century. Who will it be? Well, in our quarterfinals at the moment, it's Jason Twist against Lee Kendall, and it's shaping up rather nicely. Neil Blake, one of the other quarterfinalists, is watching it with me. I suppose the question is, what has Lee got to do now to up his game a little bit? Because Jason's playing well.
I think he's got to put a bit more shoulder into the break. At the moment, he's doing a bit of a baby break. Which gets you nowhere, really. You've got to get the balls off the break, you've got to split them well, and you can take out the finishes in. At the moment, he's just not doing that.
He's also got to stop Jason from getting to the table, because when he does, he's devastating. Let's get back to the action now and join our commentary team once again of Mike McDonald, Tony Holgate and Jim Weish.
Ninth frame. Lee
Yes,
Kendall to break.
certainly has been a tale of two different breaks in this match so far, but some unbelievable Houdini-like pots from Jason Twist. He's 5-3 in front, but believe me, that scoreline could be so much closer if not for some great potting from Jason Twist.
Well, a bit more shoulder into that break, Jim.
Yellow balls potted.
Yeah, Tony, much better. I think that's what he needs to do. Every time he gets a break, he's got to give it some elbow.
Well, certainly a better result that time from Lee Kendall, maintaining the visit at the table and control.
Notice with a lot of Lee's breaks, when he does hit the balls hard, the cue ball starts to bounce. And we saw one earlier where he bounced straight towards that right centre pocket, and he bounced in it. And he was very close again there. Just a bit of top spin on the white took it away from the bag. But he'll be pleased with the split. He's taking the yellow balls, and he's got a great chance here to win the frame.
Just the confidence booster he needs at this after the interval. He's coming back on here. He's looking good. He's obviously went away, Tony, and had to think to himself. And he's coming back and he's produced a tremendous shot.
Big opportunity forged by a good break from Lee Kendall. And already weighing it up in his mind. Exactly the sequence to remove these yellows. These players leave precious little to chance. It's all about controlling that white, minimalizing the movement and the travel on that cue ball. And that usually equates to success.
Well, you've just seen Lee there. He's all around the table. He's looking to see where he wants his cue ball to finish for his next shot. He wants to try and leave his last yellow sort of straight as he can. So he just has to roll it in, drop the cue ball on the bottom rail, and he's been playing the black into the bottom left-hand corner.
That's where he's looking there, Tony. He might end up having to play that cue ball into the 8. And I think he's going to have no choice here. So this is in the lap of the gods a little bit here, guys. He's got to negotiate the cannon in potting this yellow to leave the 8 on.
It's a dangerous thing, though, Jim, if you play this. If you play it too hard and clip the black thing, you could pot the black ball in the same shot. And, of course, we all know what that means. You lose the frame.
And that's exactly what's going through his mind now, Tony. He stood up from the table up to compose himself.
A lot more can go wrong here than right.
30 seconds.
Well, he didn't contact the black at all there. I think he was playing to kick into the black. He's still got himself a shot, though. It's quite thin.
Well, big shot, that one.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy was down very, very quickly onto that shot. As you can see, he's hit the cushion a good ways up. Never going to go in the pocket like that. There you see it bouncing off the rail into the jaws. And the tornado's back at the table. And he's not a happy camper, Lee Kendall.
Well, wasting little time to lay the snooker. One thing about it, though, if Lee hits that 8, chances are he's going to pocket it.
It's not a great snooker, Jim. going to come on. It's going to come off. Try and come off the side rail. And then down to the bottom right-hand corner towards the direction of the black ball. That's the line he's looking at. And like you say, Jim, if he does contact the black, it's going to have a good chance of going in.
30 seconds.
Well, I'm surprised he hit it and didn't pot it. He judged that very close to perfection.
You see the cue ball, the spin it gets off the rail, it contacts the cushion, it's coming in one line, and then it's sort of moved off the line with a spin that was on it. Off the side rail, there. Big turn to the left-hand side. I'll tell you what, if he hadn't had that turn, he'd have potted that ball.
Well, it was a top spin off the cushion, causing the white to swerve. Either way, he's
30 seconds.
avoided the 2 visits that he would have given had the foul crept in. And I think right now Jason Twist is again looking to contain Lee. And that's not a bad shot either.
Very good shot that from Jason Twist. Had to be really steady there, controlling the white.
Even though he's got all remaining 7 reds still on the table, Jason has so many options that he's got to be the favorite here.
That's another good shot from Lee Kendall.
That's a tremendous shot. Jason will have to work hard here to contain him this time.
Well, he's left him nothing easy, and you've got to remember in the World 8-ball pool rules, if you fail to pot a ball, after contact, you must strike a cushion, else it's a foul shot.
So basically, Tony, he can't just roll up to this red.
No, not at all. That would be a foul shot, and if he rolled up and snooked him, it would be also a foul snooker.
30 seconds.
And there you see Jason Twist making sure he hits the rail. He's played a very good shot there. It's contained Lee. There's no pocket for the black ball. Bearing in mind the same thing applies to Lee Kendall. He has to hit the rail. Looking to glance off this and bring the cue ball back behind the 8-ball. Well, he's left that one short. He's also left Jason Twist a chance of a pot into the right-hand centre. I don't think he's very pleased with that shot, Lee. Especially from a man with such a great touch as well, you know, especially in these little tactical situations. He's one of the best players in the world.
I was just going to say there, Tony, that it always amazes me with these top players how they can turn from the aggressive pull we've seen in the last frame with that tremendous finish by Jason Twist, and then coming on here and he's playing a great shot. Here we go.
He's gone in the top corner.
No, in the middle, Tony. It's in the middle. And a little bonus as well.
That's the one I was saying. He was going in the top corner, Mike.
Well, he'd far rather that red that he potted here at the end stayed over the corner pocket. But that was a great pressure pot from Jason Twist, knowing he would have left the 8 on for Lee Kendall had he missed it.
Yeah, it was a good call in the last shot, Tony.
And the same pressure applies here. He can't afford to miss a ball.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't like to make life easy for himself, Jim, does he?
Well, he's got the benefit here, though, I think, Tony, that if he tries this red to the center pocket, he can just pull that cue ball over the right-hand cushion, and he shouldn't leave the 8, even if he does miss this.
In fairness, Jim, he could play the one down the bottom and bring the cue ball back, and he could still snook it.
Absolutely, either one.
He's opting for the centre pocket.
Well, he concentrated more on the snooker than anything.
Timeout.
Well, there you see the referee checking to see if it's a total snooker. It looks like he could maybe just be able to clip that 8-ball.
Well, the eagle eye of our referee, Melvin Harley, there.
Total snooker.
Well, he's given the total snooker, Jim. Now then, is Lee going to play into this softly, or is he going to give the black ball a ride? I think he'll play the soft shot. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, that would be the shot I would play, Tony. It's got to be the soft one for me. Here he goes. That's exactly what you've said.
Oh, but did he hit? I don't think he did.
I don't think. No, he hasn't. He's given Jason 2 shots here.
And as Lee Kendall turns away in disgust, here you see it again. The cue ball coming off the bottom rail, sliding past the 8 ball, not striking it, and hitting Jason Twist red. Yeah. 2 visits for the Tornado.
There wasn't much in that.
Jason opting to waste his first shot, but
Second visit.
Also making sure he bounced the red ball off the side cushion, and leaving himself now in perfect position.
But without the insurance policy now, so he's got a complete victory. First frame, that break. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you might go for the other one, Michael. I'm sure I've seen you look at me with that look of yours, a manager's look.
Yeah, that's not the ball I would have played.
Having said that, he's still in perfect position, but I felt the other way was just slightly easier.
Yeah, he's fine there, Tony. That's a good shot. The Tornado looks like he's going to notch up another one. It's there.
Well, he's back in front by 3 frames again. 6-3 now. A lead that he enjoyed very early at 3-0 in front. And this miss from Lee Kendall, just not quite judging it off the bottom cushion, narrowly missing the 8 and awarding the 2 visits, proving his undoing.
I think he's trying to be very precise there to try and clip the left-hand side of the 8 ball to snooker Jason Twist. As I'm sure he'll like to play that shot again and give it a good thump round the table and hope to fluke it.
Leading 6 frames to 3.
There's quite a few of the French team looking on. As Jason Twist comes at the break in frame 10. Leading by 6 frames to 3.
And in a commanding position, Tony. 6-3 now, in effect. For Lee to try and win this match, he's got to beat Jason 6-2 from here on in.
And Jim, that was another tremendous break by Jason. The balls are looking very good in the table here.
He's been one of the most consistent performers in the 8-year history of this event. And certainly Jason Twist right now
30 seconds.
looking to inch
Red
that
Bull's
much
nominated.
closer to a semi-final berth.
You just wonder if this will be the year that Jason can do what he didn't manage to do in the final at the 95 World Championships. I think if he makes it this year, he's in with a great shout. He's certainly producing the pool. He's confident. He's taking his time, as I said earlier on, and his cue action's superb.
Well, I mean, we've seen the way that Quinton Hahn performed in his quarterfinal, a systematic demolition of Danny Kinney, and looking full value for that. Now, do you give Jason Twist any shot against the reigning world champion?
Yeah, on the day, you know, Jim, you've watched loads of this pool competitions. I think that Jason Twist, in my view, is one of the greatest players that's ever been produced with our game. And although I give all respect to the reigning world champion, and he is in excellent form, I think I would probably tip Jason.
Well, I'd have to disagree with you there, Michael. Quinton Hahn is the most confident and capable player I have ever seen in my life. And I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody here in this tournament that can match him when he's on his game.
Yeah, point taken, Tony. But as you know, players tend sometimes, from time to time, to change how they play when they get to the final. Although Quinton didn't do it last year, it was an absolute brilliant final.
That's that, Nick. Well, he's got that look in his eye again. The look that we saw very early in this one. A look of focus and determination. The look of a man on a mission.
Tough shot, next one, Jim. As you see, he's looking where he wants his white to be for his next shot. He's going to play this next one with a bit of top and left-hand side, bring the cue ball off the bottom cushion and over to behind the red so he can play it in the centre pocket. And he's played that very, very well indeed. Just stops the white dead now, and the black's going in the same bag.
That's what I'm saying about the player, Tony. That sort of performance is on the table. Here we go. That's another one for the tornado.
Well, Jason Twist steamrolling towards that finish line. Wants just 2 frames now for a date with Quinton Hahn.
Okay, so the Twist about to shout, but not quite yet. He's almost to the semi-finals and playing very well indeed. Jason on great form, Neil. And I think the difference between the two players, it's not Lee's playing badly, really. He's just not really taking advantage when he gets a chance.
That's right. When Jason gets his chance, he's taking them out. When Lee's there, he's making the odd little mistake. And obviously, if Jason's taking these chances out, he's making less for Lee.
He's also making the big shots. Look at some of these. Here's earlier on. This was an amazing shot.
That's right, off the cushion, off the yellow, and straight in the pocket.
Here's a couple more. Look at this yellow. Love that.
Great.
And that left him with this yellow, and that's another hard shot.
That's right, off the red, straight in the pocket. Still left a difficult black, but he managed to pop that one too.
Away we go again then. Can Lee Kendall hang on here? We'll soon find out. Let's join our commentators once again.
Well, he's never faced a 4-frame deficit in this until this point now, but a good break-off from the Fox.
Well, there's the jumping cue ball again. I'll tell you what, he's close to that middle once again. And it's always the same pocket. Flirting with danger is Mr. Kendall. But he's the man at the table right now.
30 seconds.
He'll be looking to dispose of the yellow balls into the pockets. And I feel really that he needs to this frame. He needs to take out this finish. Because at 8-3, there's just no way back.
That's right, Tony. It's a must. He must collect all his thoughts now and all the experience over the years he's played this game and do it now.
But it's like you said before, Michael. Lee Kendall is a man that just never gives in. He doesn't know when he's beaten.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. He's one of the great characters of the game. A true fighter. And if anybody can pull this back, Lee Kendall's one of the people who can.
Well, it's a game of survival. Even when you know you haven't brought your A game. Just clawing your way through matches and living to fight on. And right now, that's what Lee Kendall has to try and do. He's been outplayed, and I don't think anyone in this stage would argue that. But he's not beaten yet.
Well, it should be pretty plain sailing now for Lee Kendall. Pots this yellow over the pocket. Pots the next yellow into the bottom left-hand corner and pulls the cue ball into the 2 reds that are situated just above it. And that'll be end of frame. Well, he's decided to roll it. There's always a risk you can glue to the ball there. He hasn't. He's played it well.
One more positional shot from the yellow to the black.
As you can see, he has a slight angle, Jim. Bring the cue ball up the table.
No problems here, and being left-handed will help him. He isn't bridging over that red. And that's a confidence-boosting clearance from Lee Kendall, a breaking out to stop the 3-frame rot that Jason Twist has just thrown his way. 7-4 now to Jason Twist. And this final black, struck with a lot of confidence, never looked out of the pocket. Well, there's a couple players that everybody looks for in the draw. Keith Brewer on the right, Darren Appleton on the left, and they're 2 prohibitive favorites in every event they enter.
12th frame.
And they're, I'm sure, enjoying this, as are we. He's just giving his face a little massage as Darren Appleton, but what a player he is.
Yeah, Jim, I've had the privilege to play in the European Championships 2 years ago in south of France. Superb player. Came back from nowhere, found a gear. Tremendous.
Well, look at this. Jason Twist breaks off and nothing down. I wonder if we're seeing another momentum swing here.
You see by his reaction, he's not too pleased with it. The only problem Lee Kendall's got here is to selecting reds or yellows because they're both on. And he's looking like he's opting towards the reds.
30 seconds.
Would that have been your shot selection, Tony?
Yes, I think it would be, Michael. Reds are just... You haven't got as much positional shots to play with these ones. You know, they all coast pretty much into the same area of the table. Whereas yellows are a bit more spread out.
Well, Kendall's still looking like he's got an awful lot of fight in him, as you two alluded to. And I wonder if Jason Twist senses that as well. And this red passes the 8 into the left center.
Yeah, Jim, that's a good shot. From there, he can clear the table. That's what I admire about Lee's game. When he's under pressure, he composes himself. There's no rash and harsh choice of a game.
Still with a number of options.
Where he's going to put the 2 reds nearest the bottom of the table into the same bottom left-hand corner. And off his second one, he's going to be getting onto the red that's next to the black and playing it into the right-hand centre pocket, I think.
Well, it looks perfect, Tony, just to follow in your footsteps here.
Just got to make sure he gets the cue ball up high enough. Doesn't want to leave this short. And that's pretty good, but it's not ideal. The cue ball's now coming away from the black ball, but Lee, he should really finish him here. And all of a sudden, it's 7-5, different ball game, Jim.
And Lee Kendall breaking in the next one as well. Completely different ball game.
He's just going to roll this in, I think, Jim. Just shot.
And all manufactured, really, by the success of Lee Kendall's break and the lack of success for Jason Twist. Down goes the 8, 7-5 confirmed now. The Fox was being hunted earlier on. Now he's the hunter. And the final 8, again, posed no problems for Kendall. And I wonder if that man's got a little more on his mind now than he did a few minutes ago.
Well, Lee will be wanting to make sure he gets a few balls off the break now. He's just won 2 frames in a row. And he's given Jason Twist something to think about.
That's for sure, Tony. Only 2 of a difference now.
13th frame.
This would be a massive frame for Lee Kendall.
5 frames to 7. Foul.
Well, that's about the worst thing that could have happened. That stops you dead in your tracks.
One visit, out the table. Time running.
And that cue ball was always heading up towards that corner pocket.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, that's the first time he didn't jump the white when he broke. He's gone back in off into the top corner. And what's more, he made a ball off the break, and he'd have had a great chance of pulling another one back. But it's Jason Twist at the table.
Red ball's in play.
I don't think Jason was too happy with the way that finished. He was up off his cue, almost as though he knew he'd hit it too hard as soon as he hit it.
Well, I think he's hit it too soft. That's what he was trying to get the cue ball down to play the red ball next to the black in the middle.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Tony. That was a shot for me.
And as you can see, Lee Kendall, realising the cue ball's travelling too slow, he'll be thinking now he's going to get another chance at this frame.
30 seconds.
Big pot here for Jason Twist.
That's a very big shot there.
Equal to the task there, but he's not out of the woods yet.
No, still nothing easy, Jim.
That one flew into the corner pocket.
That's a great shot from Jason Twist.
Tremendous shot, Tony.
The control there, the cue ball was dead next to the cushion. He's played it quite thin, as you can see. He's trying to hold the white as well. It's kicking the yellow. It's a brilliant shot.
Still that one problem red, just above the black.
Thirty seconds.
And there's our timekeeper, Marianne Bernard. She's got the stopwatch in hand. These players have 1 minute to play their shots, and they get a warning after 30 seconds. And we have seen some fouls, some time fouls, most notable in the World Championships a few years back with Daz Ward. And that one will stick out in everybody's memories. But and Carl Morris, of course. Another instance that springs to mind.
Well, that was last year's semi-final against Terry Hunt, and it was in the last frame, and Terry Hunt came up and cleared the table to win the match to go into the final.
The shot you called earlier, Tony. The red to the middle.
Just got a kick into the black nicely, and that's a lovely shot from Jason Twist.
Yes, it seems every time Kendall has thrown the challenge, Jason Twist has responded. 8-5 he leads and wants just one more frame for a place in the semifinals. But a terrific positional shot here. Watch the side on the cue ball. Off that bottom cushion and perfectly placed onto the red into the center.
You have to think now, Jim, he's destined for the semi-final.
Well, he's answered the bell time and time again. Kendall's come back at him. And just what he needed at most, he's produced the goods. Both these players, mainstays on the English side. A testament to how well they play under pressure.
As I said earlier on, Jim, about the break, you've got to try and keep the white ball in the centre of the table. That's where you build it from.
Yellow's potted.
Well, Jason has definitely been more successful breaking than has Lee Kendall. He's been imaginative with his shot making. And under the crunch, he's just been that much better.
30 seconds.
That's the reason he enjoys this 8-5 scoreline. But they always say the last one is the toughest one to win. How elusive that will prove, only time will tell.
Yellow ball's in play.
I wonder if that yellow nearest the black, Tony, passes into the left center.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's very, very tight, but it might just creep through.
That's the key ball, really, for me here.
You'd like a little bit more room than that, wouldn't you, Jim? That is very, very tight.
Well, certainly, it might pass if it's rolled in. If it's played at any pace, I don't know. So that,
30 seconds.
in effect, means that will have to be the last yellow that Jason plays.
But he wants to get the cue ball right behind it as well.
Oh, that's bounced out.
He's tried to move it. He obviously didn't like it where it was, and he's tried to shift the ball away.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, another look at this. Down and out of the pocket. At that speed, that'll happen.
Well, it's another opportunity for Lee to close the gap again.
Thirty seconds.
It's a good containing shot from Lee Kendall.
Just what he needed.
A lot of players in this situation, you know, you're one frame away from losing the match, and you start to
Total snooker.
to flap a little bit. But Lee Kendall composed himself.
Well,
He's played a good shot.
I thought you were about to say what Jason Twist was going to do here. Mike and I are nodding our heads. We think that he might well throw his cue at this one and test the fates.
That wasn't far away, Jim.
No, it wasn't. No, had this gone in, that might have been Lee Kendall's last visit. As it is, he's still in with a golden opportunity here. He can't afford any more mistakes now, trailing 8-5. He's got to grasp the initiative, and he can't let it go again.
30 seconds.
He's played a good shot, but I think he might have just tied the black up.
Another
You see
look
he's
at
played
it.
the plant and kicked the red away, but just nudged the yellow right next to the 8 ball. And there you see he's very close to it. Not sure if that black will go anywhere. He might have to move it. Lee Kendall there, he tried to get on the red on the cushion, and he's just a little bit short where he'd like to have been.
Well, Tony, if he does want to move it, this red offers the opportunity right here. It's got the angle, the red bottom left. Take the cue ball either straight up to the yellow or left cushion it into the yellow.
But after you're moving it, Jim, you've also got to land on your next ball.
That's right.
Well, one thing about it, he's got two reds
30 seconds.
in close proximity there. He'd be very unlucky not to leave one of them on.
And Michael, the pressure that Lee's under.
He knows to only have one slip, and it's over for him.
Well, I think he did have a little go at moving it.
Yeah.
So he's just pumps the cue ball off the rail. He tried to just flick the black out. He's not missed it by very much, but he's still got an angle. He could go in again. But again, Michael, he's got to land on his next ball.
That's right. That's a big problem for him.
Well, I think if he can contact the black right in the centre, push yellow away, and he could land on the red, and also have an angle to get across to the one that's on the rail.
Well, that's not too bad. He's loosened the 8 ball a little bit, but he's got to come up with a couple very good pots here and positional play on top of it. I don't know if I fancy him from here. This is just, given the circumstances, he knows he can't afford any mistakes, but
Massive
very
shots.
awkward.
Massive shots.
I'm wondering if Lee's thinking about playing the red in the top right-hand corner. Make life easier with the position onto his last ball. He's opted for the centre.
Yeah.
Just didn't like him for that, guys. He just looked a little uncomfortable to me, and he was giving himself more and more to do with each visit.
Have we seen Lee Kendall's last shot?
Well, he's left Jason Twist an angle now. He's going to try and pot this and kick the yellow off the rail. And what a brilliant shot
That's
from Jason.
exactly what he's done.
I'll tell you what, that's a match winner, guys.
For me as well, Tony.
See Lee walking away from the table there, shaking his head. What a great shot from Jason Twist. And as you can see, he's perfect on the ball that he's just kicked out to play it into the centre pocket, and everything else is simple. I think he might play this at a bit of pace and come off the top rail and back down again. Yeah, and there's Jason laughing. As you watch this yellow, it's just hit the side jaw and wiped his feet before it went into the pocket. But the main thing for Jason, it went in. He's still there.
And he's on his shot.
And that's a lovely shot from Jason. So it's very positive. Not frightened of using the rails. And this match is all over by the shouting.
Well, this 8 for an emphatic victory over the number 3 seed Lee Kendall. Down it goes, and the Tornado advances through to the semi-final. A 9-5 winner over the Fox Lee Kendall. He will meet Quinton Hahn, the defending champion, in that semi-final.
And I, for one, am looking forward to that matchup. Jason Twist against Quinton Hahn. That's our first semi-final. But I suppose, looking at it, Neil Blake, never really a time where Jason was looking in any trouble, was he?
No, Lee wasn't breaking well, taking his opportunities in spits and spurts. And Jason played well. He had control of the match.
Would you say that's going to be an interesting matchup, Hahn against Jason?
Yes, I would, but I think Jason still maybe have to go up a gear. 1 gear maybe, and see what happens. You never know with the breaks. Quentin could break badly, Jason could break well, and it's a different match then.
How do you feel about your own match against Carl Morris? Won this in, of course, '98. Looked good then, but hasn't been as good on form this last couple of years, has he?
That's right. I'm looking forward to it. I'm playing well. Let's see what happens.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Well, certainly Jason Twist was the man of the moment. He won that match, well, convincingly, really, throughout most of it, in control, finished it off nicely. And let's just update you where we are in the quarterfinals. Quinton Hahn winning 9-2 over Danny Kinney of Northern Ireland. Twist going through 9-5 over Lee Kendall. Chris Melling, the youngster, first time on television against last year's runner-up Terry Hunt. That's one of the next quarterfinals. And Neil Blake here in the studio up against the '98 world champion Carl Morris, and number 2 seed for this tournament. Well, my thanks to Neil for joining us. He's got to go and get his game ready for his quarterfinal. But there's plenty more action to come. That's it from Blackpool.